Hello, I'm Dr. Chonta Haynes, and I'm super excited to be here at this Global Leaders Conference, this summit. And Keenan, thank you so much for this opportunity. But you know what? I'm going to jump right into the presentation so that I can share my screen and we can get started. Well, this is Crowned for Impact, leading with guidance, grit, and grace. And I'm excited about what we're going to be doing today. Now, I know Keenan gave you my credentials, I would say, but I need to give you some backstory. See, I felt like I was suspended in midair. No airplane, no seatbelt, and definitely no armrest to hold on to. It was a moment I'll never forget. Divorce, empty nest, and launching a business as a female entrepreneur, the turbulence, believe me, was real. And despite having 6 degrees, years of experience, and a heart full of purpose, I found myself disappointed by so-called experts, overwhelmed by endless options, and underwhelmed by my income. See, I was sitting in God's waiting room. Maybe you've been there too. Credentialed, but confused. Called, but stuck, unseen. Praying for clarity while piecing together puzzle pieces that didn't quite fit. That frustration led to revelation. See, I asked God, why did I not see the successes in my business that I was getting for other people? And he said, you don't recognize the weight that you carry. You think everyone can do what you do. He also said, you didn't find the room that you were looking for because I called you to build it. So I did. I invested heavily in coaching, training, and trial by fire. And from that, I created what I wish I had, a space for faith-filled entrepreneurs to gain strategy, systems, structure, and scalability without wasting time or money. And now that room has helped purpose-driven leaders 5x their results. One client calls it a one-stop shop for kingdompreneurs ready to build something real. I'm called to activate dreams, amplify voices, and architect success stories. My mission is clear: to cultivate potential and purpose and align destiny within every life I touch. Because when purpose is known, success, progress, and prosperity are inevitable. Every thriving entrepreneur has that one moment where everything changes, where they walk into a room of high-level thinkers, finally gain clarity, and take action on that next level. This is your room today. So let's get you crowned for impact, leading with guidance, grit, and grace. First up, come Holy Spirit. Right, Holy Spirit led. This is the guidance. As a faith-based entrepreneur, a kingdom-based leadership, we have the privilege of imploring God into our business. There is an advantage of adding the super to our natural, knowing you are divinely aligned, operating in your purpose, and leading others to operate in theirs. You see into them, and you can pull out of them those attributes, the gifts that they are to use. We have these treasures ultimately in earthen vessels. So what does that do? If we infuse God into your leadership, you're imploring your secret weapon. You're resting in your leadership, and it allows others to be more productive and creative. How are we going to do that? Prayer. That's right. Operating from rest because you know that God is there with you and he is directing you. Affirmations because we know it is real that everybody is not always on the same page with us. We've got frenemies and everything else because you have to be built up yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Leadership is not easy. But lastly, you're going to ask. We ask for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to move forward in our leadership. So when we use our superpower, we recognize that revival is here. There's inspiration, empowerment, the Godfidence to do what God has called us to. When we yield to God, the creator of this entire universe, and we also have those that we are called to lead, and we recognize that we influence differently. We see their strengths and we motivate them. We don't treat them like others would do unfairly. We do unto others as we would have them do unto us. That doesn't mean that we're doormats, though. We lead with wisdom and we are truly servant leaders. So in this first step, what I'd like for you to do is recognize your spiritual intelligence. I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. What are your spiritual gifts? Do you know them? Can you identify them? Are you using them? ministerial gifts, natural gifts and talent. Rate yourself on spiritual intelligence. And I will tell you, I wanted to make sure you had some resource of scriptures that you can then go to in order to build yourself up. You cannot pour from an empty cup. We ought to pour from overflow. So now let's move on. And I wanted to make sure I highlighted this, not for this particular testimony, but notice she said, as a leader, that I was like a lighthouse guiding her. I want you to be the leader, to be that lighthouse, to be the guide, making sure that you recognize that. I want you to type guide in the chat. I want you to write it on your notes. Be the guide. Let's jump in then to step number 2. Number 2 is grit. It all starts with your mindset, how you think. We have to revive your mind. You change when you change your mind. You elevate head first. Romans, the 12th chapter and the first verse says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Metamorpho, changed. We are hindered by not seeing yourself in your full capacity. How then do you describe yourself? Do you see yourself as an employee or a visionary, a leader? And based on your answer is how you're operating. Are you leading as a friend? Are you taking charge? How are you showing up? See, you should be a strategic thinker, asking God for light in every situation, light to see the obstacles that need to be overcome, how you can sidestep them, light to see the resources that are available to you, light to see the potential also in others. As a leader, a global leader, you need to recognize that you are ultimately a transformational leader. I identify it here also as a servant leader. And let me just say, transformation doesn't just happen. It's not just the information that I give you or the revelation that others have. It's also the implementation. So for true transformation, you need information, revelation, and implementation. Of course, you're going to be passionate. You're going to be inspirational. You're going to be influential. You should be the coach. You also should be the guide. So under this, if we're going to change our leadership, that means we have to reframe your thoughts. Change the thoughts to that of a leader. You should be playing chess while others are playing checkers. You should be 3 or 4 moves ahead, focused on the king. You need to build to get God's attention. You are in a position for such a time as this, so don't play small. Strategic decision making is something you should be thinking about. You should know your vision, your mission, your goals, your objectives, following a strategic plan and implementing with the right ones for the job. So reframe your thoughts. Do you have a strategic plan or vision? Who's on your team? Who's seated at your table? What are their gifts? What are their talents that they bring? You have to adjust your crown. That means seeing yourself through the eyes of the cross like God sees you. Communicate your vision well. That means you've got to write it and make it plain so that others can run with it. Find new resources of value and focus on long-term strategy. Now, one of my clients, Jackie, the whole point of me putting this one here is she says that I helped her see her value. You as a leader going to do that. I gave her a strategy that left her excuseless and crystal clear. She also had emotional and a spiritual change. This was a mindset shift. I want you to type mindset. Let's go to number 3, grace. That means I see you. Now, when we talk about teamwork, and we've heard the phrase, teamwork makes the dream work, but let me remind you that people don't want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. So if we're going to make the team work, if we're going to be great leaders, you have to then want the best outcomes for both the people as well as the company. You are a great leader when others are following you and you're not just taking a good long walk. You don't go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team. And if you're looking for a great example of leadership, Jesus is the number one example. Now, here's what I want you to do in this section. We're going to do a self-awareness of your leadership. So, in order to be a successful leader leading others, you must be aware of where you are and where you need to focus your energy. In other words, we're taking a bird's eye view and then implementing strategies in order to improve. We're going to take this example of a stoplight, a traffic light, if you would, and you're going to rate yourself. You're going to do red because you stop. That's what you do at a stoplight. Yellow if you need to go slow, or green if it's time to go. The areas that you're going to need to focus on first are the red and then the yellow. All right, ready? We're going to go into 5 traits of a great servant transformational leader. The first one is the relational intelligence, red, yellow, or green. If you need to improve in this area, you need to encourage participation in the programs that you're doing, in the projects. You need to motivate others to achieve. Next up is communication. How is your communication? If you need to improve in this area, it might be your messaging, how you say what you say, or it might be the timing. When do you say it? Third, emotional intelligence. Rate yourself here. This is all about your care or concern for others, as well as your care or concern for your company, your ministry, or your business. If you find that you need to improve your emotional intelligence, then start your emails with, how are you? I worry about some of the things that you've been going through lately. I want to make sure you're balanced. Something like that. Fourth is the active listening. Are you an active listener? Not listening to respond, but listening to comprehend. And how is your follow up? Those are going to improve this area. Then, are you a strategic thinker? This is the last one. Are you a visionary? Are you 3, 4 moves ahead? Are you looking ahead to what's coming up? And then, are you adaptable? Can you change? Are you a little bit flexible? Because everything we know doesn't go as planned. So here's where we are today. I want you to make sure you look at those evaluations. We lead looking up, that's guidance. We lead looking inward, that's the grit. We lead looking outward, that's the grace. And so I wanted to make sure you had action items to take home. Rodney says this about me, that I am a dynamic, diverse, delivered, and determined transformational leader. And remember, transformation comes with information, revelation, as well as implementation. One of the things I really appreciated about this is I challenged them. I coached them, I helped, I supported, and I made it my personal mission to guarantee success along the journey. Now it's your turn. I told you that this is the room and you are the one. You can do this. See, my approach is deeply personal, it's highly professional, and strategically prophetic. I don't just inspire action, I facilitate transformation. So if you are ready to activate your next level, align your life with purpose, or launch a business or brand rooted in legacy and profitability, then let's connect. And I've got 2 options for connecting. The first is a free download. It's the 5 biggest mistakes keeping you overwhelmed and unprofitable as a female entrepreneur. I've got the QR code on the screen, as well as the URL chontahaynes.com/mistakes. This is a wealth of information for you. It will build you up, but it will also make sure that you don't make those mistakes. Then the next one, if you are truly ready to move forward right now and you say, hey, my destiny is calling and I want to accelerate it. I don't want to play small. I am not going to do that. I want to be that great leader. Then I invite you to book a Destiny Accelerator strategy call with me. The QR code is also on the screen, or you can go to my website, chontahaynes.com/destiny. It's 30 minutes with me, and we're going to make sure that you have a roadmap to your next destination. All right, at this juncture, I want to make sure you tell me your biggest takeaway. What are you focusing on? Based on those 3 areas, guidance, grit, or grace, what is your number one that you're going to do? Again, I'm Dr. Chonta Haynes, and it truly has been my pleasure to be at this Global Leaders Conference. I know you're going to lead better when you leave from here. Thanks so much, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. God bless.